An absolute earthquake has just shattered the foundations of Buckingham Palace, leaving the British monarchy in a state of sheer, unadulterated chaos. In a sudden late-night move that no one saw coming, King Charles has officially signed a secret royal decree, handing total, absolute, and unprecedented control of the entire royal operational framework over to none other than his sister, Princess Anne. Insiders are calling it a historic betrayal, a ruthless power shift that has sent seismic shockwaves through the highest corridors of power. Royal aides were reportedly spotted weeping in the hallways, while senior members of the firm were caught completely off guard, scrambling in utter panic as locks were changed and emergency meetings were called in the dead of night. Queen Camilla is said to be inconsolable, furious beyond words, while Prince William was reportedly summoned to an urgent summit after learning his future reign had just been irrevocably altered. What forced Charles to make such a desperate, dangerous gamble? What terrifying secrets were uncovered inside the palace walls that pushed him to strip authority from everyone else? Stay tuned, because the shocking truth behind this royal takeover will tear apart everything you thought you knew about the House of Windsor. To understand the sheer magnitude of this unprecedented crisis, we have to travel back through the dark, tension-filled halls of Buckingham Palace over the past several months. Behind the polished marble, the gleaming crowns, and the carefully curated public smiles, a ferocious silent war for power has been raging within the royal family. For years, the public believed that the transition of power following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II would be smooth, calculated, and predictable. But behind closed doors, a toxic web of rivalry, deep-seated resentment, and relentless ambition was slowly coming apart at the seams. At the center of this brewing storm stood three dominant forces: Queen Camilla, Prince William, and the steadfast, iron-willed Princess Anne. Ever since King Charles ascended the throne, rumors began circulating among palace staffers that the internal hierarchy was spiraling out of control. Camilla, determined to secure her legacy and solidify her influence over royal affairs, had quietly begun asserting authority over key palace departments, altering long-standing protocols, and sidelining traditional royal advisors. Her aggressive restructuring efforts immediately ruffled feathers among long-serving courtiers who viewed her moves as a desperate grab for absolute influence. Meanwhile, Prince William, as the Prince of Wales and direct heir to the throne, found himself increasingly at odds with the direction of the monarchy. Sources close to the prince revealed that William felt frustrated by the mounting bureaucracy and the lack of decisive leadership during critical moments of public scrutiny. He envisioned a modernized, streamlined monarchy, but his attempts to implement reforms were repeatedly met with fierce resistance from the old guard and competing factions within the palace hierarchy. The palace was no longer a united front. It had fractured into warring camps, with aides whispering in corners and leaked information becoming a weapon of choice. Then there was Princess Anne, the quiet force, the hardest-working royal, and the one person who held the unwavering respect of the late Queen Elizabeth II. Known for her ruthless work ethic, no-nonsense attitude, and absolute refusal to indulge in personal drama and watch the escalating chaos with growing disgust. For decades, she had served as the rock of the family, silently carrying out hundreds of engagements a year while others dominated the headlines with scandals and public feuds. But as the internal strife reached a boiling point, and reached her absolute limit, exhausted by the endless infighting, the catastrophic public relations blunders, and the terrifying lack of discipline surrounding the crown, Princess Anne reportedly confronted King Charles in a fiery, closed-door meeting that lasted well past midnight. Leaked reports from senior palace staff suggest that Anne presented the king with an ultimatum: either restore ironclad order to the monarchy immediately, or watch the institution collapse under the weight of its own greed and division. Charles, facing immense pressure, mounting health battles, and the daunting task of holding a fragile family together, knew he was cornered. The palace was bleeding credibility. Confidential documents were mysteriously vanishing from private offices, and key decisions were being delayed for weeks due to bitter infighting between advisors. The atmosphere inside the palace was described as suffocating, filled with paranoia, mistrust, and explosive arguments that could be heard echoing through the historic corridors. The stage was set for a disaster of catastrophic proportions. The tension had built up for months, like a pressure cooker waiting to detonate. Nobody could have predicted that King Charles was preparing to drop a nuclear bomb on his own household. A decision so radical, so unprecedented, that it would instantly tear the royal family apart and redefine the future of the British crown forever. The detonation happened on a rainy Thursday night at Windsor Castle. It was supposed to be a routine dinner among senior royals, but within minutes, It transformed into the most explosive confrontation in modern royal history. According to high-level palace whistleblowers, King Charles stood up at the head of the table, cleared his throat, and laid down an official red leather folder containing a newly drafted royal letters patent. With a cold, unwavering voice, Charles announced that effective immediately, Princess Anne was being elevated to chief administrator of the royal estate and sovereign affairs, granting her total, unchallengeable control over all palace operations, security detail, administrative budgets, and internal personnel. The room reportedly went dead silent. The atmosphere plunged into Arctic coldness. Queen Camilla was the first to explode in pure, unbridled rage. Witnesses claim she slammed her hands on the table, her face pale with shock, demanding to know how Charles could execute such a humiliating betrayal behind her back. She had been completely blindsided. For months, Camilla had been quietly consolidating her power, attempting to position her own trusted network of advisors in key administrative positions. Now, in a single stroke of a pen, Charles had stripped her of all operational influence, rendering her role purely ceremonial, and placing her directly under the administrative authority of her sister-in-law, Princess Anne. The argument that followed was described as a war zone. Shouting echoed through the halls as Prince William jumped to his feet, demanding an immediate explanation. William felt completely blindsided and deeply insulted that such immense power had been handed over without his prior consultation or consent. He argued that as the future king, his authority was being undermined and that this drastic decision signaled a total vote of no confidence in the traditional line of succession. Then came the first catastrophic twist that no one saw coming. As the shouting reached a fever pitch, Princess Anne slowly stood up, opened her leather briefcase, and pulled out a stack of classified audit documents and private digital communications. With ice in her veins, she laid them out in front of the gathered royals. It turned out that Anne hadn't just asked for control. She'd spent the last 3 months secretly investigating palace operations with the help of an independent security audit team. The leaked documents revealed massive financial discrepancies, unauthorized leaks of sensitive royal schedules to tabloids, and evidence that high-ranking staff members tied to Camilla's inner circle were actively plotting to reshape the royal brand without the king's explicit approval. The room was stunned into absolute silence. The revelation was damning, explosive, and completely undeniable. Within 2 hours of the dramatic confrontation, emergency security teams descended upon Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace. Key staff members were abruptly escorted out of the building by royal protection officers, their access badges revoked, and their official email accounts locked down. Social media instantly exploded as sharp-eyed royal watchers noticed high-level staff members suddenly updating their profiles to formerly employed at the royal household in the middle of the night. Leaked text messages between terrified palace staffers began circulating on encrypted messaging apps, with one senior aide writing, "It's an absolute bloodbath here," and has taken over. Locks are being changed as we speak. Nobody is safe. By dawn, the news had leaked to international media outlets, sending shockwaves across the globe. But just as the world was trying to digest the news that Princess Anne was now running the palace with an iron fist, an even darker, far more terrifying secret was about to emerge from the shadows. As news of Princess Anne's sudden takeover swept through global news channels, the internet plunged into absolute chaos. Trending hashtags like #RoyalTakeover, #PrincessAnneInCharge, and #PalaceLockItDown dominated global trends on X, formerly Twitter, accumulating millions of posts in a matter of hours. Speculation ran wild as commentators, journalists, and fans debated what could have possibly driven King Charles to take such an extreme, nuclear option. News networks broke into regular programming with urgent special broadcasts. Royal correspondents stood outside the gates of Buckingham Palace in the pouring rain, describing an atmosphere of unprecedented lockdown. Heavy security vehicles were spotted entering and leaving the gates under dark-tinted glass, and the usual public tours were abruptly cancelled without explanation due to unforeseen administrative maintenance. Then came the second, mind-blowing twist that completely changed the narrative. A massive breach occurred on a dark web forum, where a high-level whistleblower leaked a series of highly classified emails between top-ranking government officials and royal advisors. The leaked documents revealed that King Charles's decision was not just a sudden reaction to internal family drama. It was a desperate defense mechanism against a massive, covert attempt to force his early abdication. According to the leaked files, a rogue faction within the political and palace elite had been quietly assembling legal documentation to declare the king unfit for daily operational duties due to his ongoing health battles. This faction was allegedly maneuvering to establish a temporary regency council that would effectively bypass Princess and control the monarch's vast estate, wealth, and public schedule. When Princess Anne uncovered this covert plot through her secret audit, she immediately presented the evidence to Charles. The king, realizing he was surrounded by individuals playing a high-stakes game of political chess, made the ultimate power move. By executing the secret letters patent and granting Princess Anne total control over palace infrastructure, Charles effectively locked out the conspirators, neutralized the regency plot, and gave Anne legal authority to dismantle the rogue networks from within. The revelation sent shockwaves through Parliament and the global political landscape. High-profile celebrities, media personalities, and political commentators immediately took to social media to react to the jaw-dropping news. Prominent commentators posted furious threads, with one viral tweet reading, "This isn't just royal drama anymore. This is a full-blown constitutional crisis. Princess Anne just pulled off the ultimate countercoup to protect her brother." Celebrities joined the frenzy, posting memes and video reactions expressing complete awe at Princess Anne's ruthless efficiency. Viral TikTok videos analyzing Princess Anne's stern public appearances garnered tens of millions of views, with users dubbing her the real power behind the crown. Meanwhile, inside the palace, the escalation was reaching dangerous levels. Queen Camilla was reportedly refusing to leave her private quarters, demanding her legal team challenge the validity of the king's decree. Prince William was caught in an impossible dilemma, torn between supporting his father's protective move and defending his own future rights as heir. Just when commentators thought the story couldn't possibly get any more insane, an anonymous insider leaked a cryptic audio recording from inside the palace gates, capturing a heated argument where a female voice, believed to be Princess Anne, coldly stated, "You thought you could destroy this family from the inside. Your time is up." The internet was in flames, but the public backlash was only just beginning to peak. The world was now completely divided, locked in a fierce, emotional debate that threatened to permanently alter public perception of the British monarchy. News outlets across the globe, from North America to Asia and Australia, dedicated entire morning shows and primetime panels to analyzing the ongoing palace takeover. Supporters of Princess Anne flooded social media platforms, praising her as a fearless savior who was finally cleaning house and saving the monarchy from total ruin. Fan clubs and royalist organizations launched online petitions demanding that Anne's new powers be made permanent, hailing her as the epitome of strength, discipline, and royal dignity. On X, supporters rallied under the hashtag Team Anne, filling feeds with edits of her military uniform appearances, praising her no-nonsense attitude and unwavering loyalty to her brother. Princess Anne is the only person in that entire family who actually knows how to work. One viral post with over 500,000 likes read, "She should have been put in charge years ago. If anyone can clear out the snakes and fix the palace, it's her." However, on the opposite side of a spectrum, an equally vocal faction expressed deep concern and outrage. Critics argued that granting an unelected, single royal absolute administrative control over palace budgets and security was dangerous, dictatorial, and completely unconstitutional. Anti-monarchy groups organized emergency protests outside the gates of Buckingham Palace, holding signs that read, "No, absolute control," and "Democracy, not autocracy." Media commentators and legal experts weighed in with severe warnings. During a heated debate on major television networks, a prominent constitutional scholar stated, "What King Charles has done breaks every unspoken rule of modern constitutional monarchy. By concentrating total operational authority into the hands of Princess Anne, he has effectively bypassed traditional oversight. This creates a terrifying precedent that could destabilize the firm for generations." The divide spilled over into the celebrity world as well. A-list stars, pop icons, and popular podcasters openly discussed the scandal on their shows, dissecting every single detail like a real-life psychological thriller. Famous late-night hosts devoted their opening monologues to the palace chaos, poking fun at the sheer absurdity of high-level royal espionage while acknowledging the dark, high-stakes reality behind the headlines. International governments were quietly panicking as well. Foreign diplomats expressed behind-the-scenes concern over the stability of the British head of state, wondering if diplomatic events, official state visits, and international treaties managed through royal channels would be disrupted by Princess Anne's sweeping operational overhaul. Within the palace walls, the tension had reached a breaking point. Staff members were walking on eggshells, terrified of being caught in the crossfire of Princess Anne's relentless sweeping changes. Longtime courtiers who had served the royal family for decades were suddenly being subjected to strict background checks, financial audits, and non-disclosure agreements. Supporters called it a long-overdue cleaning of the royal stables. Haters called it a cold, ruthless reign of terror. But as public debate raged and social media burned with endless theories, no one realized that the biggest, most mind-shattering revelation was still hiding in the shadows. A secret that would render all previous drama completely insignificant. Just as the world believed it had finally grasped the full scope of Princess Anne's palace takeover, a brand new, terrifying revelation emerged that sent shockwaves straight through the core of the global public. In the early hours of Sunday morning, a legendary investigative journalist dropped an explosive, highly detailed report containing leaked royal medical records and encrypted legal drafts from the monarch's private estate attorneys. The leaked documents contained a bombshell truth that nobody, not even the highest-ranking political leaders, saw coming. King Charles had not just granted Princess Anne control over the palace operations. The secret decree signed at Windsor Castle contained a hidden, deeply classified clause. The Sovereign Transition Protocol. According to the leaked clause, in the event of any sudden constitutional crisis, political instability, or severe health decline, Princess Anne was officially appointed as the sole interim regent and guardian of the crown, completely bypassing the standard Regency Act protocols that would normally elevate Prince William or Queen Camilla into immediate administrative control. The implication was clear, breathtaking, and utterly historic. King Charles had quietly put mechanisms in place to hand the physical custody, authority, and ultimate decision-making power of the entire British crown over to Princess Anne, effectively freezing out every other senior royal from taking immediate control. When Prince William discovered the existence of this hidden clause, sources report that he immediately left Kensington Palace in a rage, demanding an emergency face-to-face confrontation with his father. Witnesses reported seeing William's motorcade speeding toward Windsor Castle under armed police escort late last night. Inside the castle walls, emergency lights burned bright through the night. Shadows of royal aides running through the grand halls were captured by telephoto lenses from distant media crews waiting outside the gates. The palace press office released a rushed, cryptic statement stating only that the royal household remains focused on supporting His Majesty's duties, refusing to deny or confirm the existence of the secret transition protocol. Is Princess Anne preparing to step into a role that no woman in modern royal history has ever held? Did King Charles intentionally structure this protocol to protect his reign? Or is he quietly preparing the nation for a sudden, dramatic handover of power? And most terrifyingly of all, what will Prince William and Queen Camilla do now that they've been completely stripped of their authority? The war for the crown has only just begun, and the ultimate showdown inside Buckingham Palace is about to detonate. What an absolute, unbelievable roller coaster of drama, power plays, and shocking twists. The British monarchy will truly never be the same after this historic power shift. Now, I want to hear directly from you. Do you think King Charles made the right decision by giving Princess Anne total control over the palace? Or has he made a catastrophic mistake that will destroy the royal family forever? Is Princess Anne the savior the monarchy desperately needed? Or is she taking too much power for herself? Drop your thoughts, theories, and wildest predictions in the comments section below right now. Let's get a massive debate going. If you found this update shocking and want to stay ahead of every single twist in this unfolding royal crisis, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all post notifications so you never miss a second of the drama. Brace yourselves because our sources are already working on an exclusive follow-up report detailing Prince William's secret late-night confrontation at Windsor Castle, and you will not want to miss what happens next. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next explosive update.